Over the next 9 weeks, I'll be traveling throughout Australia and New Zealand. I'll be starting in Darwin of the Northern Territory and making my way south through the Outback to Uluru. Then I'll be heading down the Australian east coast from Cairns to Melbourne. Once in New Zealand, I'll be checking out the North Island before the adrenaline and adventure of the South Island. This is my second time in Australia and New Zealand, but this time my bucket list will be a lot shorter. This is the Grand Ocean Adventure. So my next trip is almost upon us. I leave in a couple of days to Australia and New Zealand. I'm really looking forward to this trip. This is a 9-week epic adventure. So I was last in Australia in our winter, their summer of 2010-2011 while working on a cruise ship. And even though I visited some amazing places and checked out some amazing scenery and done pretty cool activities and that, I didn't really dive into both countries as thoroughly as other people have. And I've done a lot of research since then, and I missed out on a lot of activities. So I've always wanted to go back to New Zealand and Australia. New Zealand is my favorite country in the world outside of Canada. Australia is my third favorite country in the world. And I've always wanted to go back. So I'm going to be filming this whole entire trip in 4K. And I have a brand new GoPro Hero 6. And that's going to be filmed in 4K. It's a 4-part documentary series. Episode 1 is in the Outback, Episode 2 is down the East Coast, Episode 3 is the North Island of New Zealand, and Episode 4 is the epic South Island of New Zealand. So I'm going to be traveling with Kentucky in Australia. I'm going to be on the tour called The Big Walkabout from Darwin all the way down to Sydney. It's a 24-day tour throughout Australia. Now this tour is also divided into 2 smaller tours from Darwin to Uluru in the Outback, and then Cairns down to Sydney along the east coast of Australia. So there are a lot of activities that I'm really looking forward to doing in Australia. Snorkeling on the Great Barrier Reef, sleeping outside under the stars in the Outback, seeing the sunrise and sunset at Uluru, climbing the Sydney Harbour Bridge, getting a surfing lesson. There's just so many activities in Australia that I'm really looking forward to. It's going to be absolutely amazing. And yeah, let's just go.
No lie, heave away, all away. I'll love that girl till the day I die. Going to Australia. Heave away, you ruler kings. Heave away, all away. Heave away, you'll hear me sing. Going to Australia.
Our first stop in Darwin was at Crocosaurus Cove, where we met several Australian reptiles, including the saltwater crocodile.
Going to Australia. Heave away, you ruler kings. Heave away, all the way. Heave away, you'll hear me sing. Going to Australia. Now I'm on a foreign strand. Heave away, all the way. With a bottle of whiskey in me hand. Going to Australia. Heave away, you ruler kings. Heave away, all the way. Heave away, you'll hear me sing. Going to Australia. I'll drink one glass to the foreign shore. Heave away, all the way. One to the girl I adore. Going to Australia.
So this is day 2 of our Kentucky trip through the Outback. We had a couple of days in Darwin, which was really boring. And now we made a stop off at Litchfield National Park. Saw the termite mounds, and now we made a stop at Florence Falls. Check out the falls and go for a dip.
Heave away, you'll hear me sing. Going to Australia. Going to Australia.
After our swim, we then drove south to the Mary River wetlands for a scenic cruise, and this time hoping to spot some wild saltwater crocodiles.
My name is Connie, I'll be a skipper and your tour guide. It's very easy, a lot of fun out here. It's a bit hot, so we don't know what we'll find out here today, but I'm pretty good at finding things, so here's hoping. So this crocodile's directly opposite the boat, about 2 metres out, underneath that fan-looking shaped palm. There's this saltwater crocodile just going under now. And if you get the sun in the right spot, you'll see that black neck turns to greens and purples and blues. We've got there a 4-metre crocodile. Look at that. This is exceptional. I would never have thought we'd even see this Now we are out of time, so I've got to keep going through now, unless of course it's something incredible, but I'll just keep the pedal going, the metal, or the metal of the pedal, whatever you say. Here we go, freshwater crocodile actually moving, that doesn't happen too often.
So it is day 3 of our Kentucky trip. We're spending a full day in Kakadu National Park, and we are here at Jabru Airstrip. As you can see me behind me, there's some planes there, and we're going to be boarding a G8 plane and taking an aerial view of Kakadu National Park, which is going to be awesome. It's the first time riding in a plane like this, so let's go.
honestly, I've never seen anything that beautiful in my life. No, it was just amazing seeing the planes and it just kept going. Yeah, there's just so much water. I just thought it was like a big barren desert, you know? They actually have water out there.
After our flight, we began our journey to the Red Centre with a stop in Catherine, where we went on another scenic cruise, this time through the Catherine Gorge. After spending the night in Catherine, we were back on the long road again, heading south towards our overnight stop of Renner Springs. During our long journey, we made a lunch stop at the famous Daily Waters pub. This pub has been a very popular spot for travelers since 1930 who are venturing through the Outback to rest up and have good hearty food and of course cold and refreshing beer. It is common practice for travelers to leave something personal behind. So the walls and just about every clear space is covered with several personal items. So our group decided to leave a t-shirt behind where we all wrote a message for our future travelers to see. It's 5:45 in the morning. Those are bags to coach this morning. We're leaving Renner Springs today and we have a full driving day ahead of us, but we're going to stop at some pretty cool places along the way. Our first stop of the day was at Devil's Marbles. These boulders form the exposed top layer of an extensive and mostly underground granite formation, and due to weathering and erosion created these unique formations. Further down the road, our second stop of the day was at Wycliffe Well, which is known as the UFO capital of Australia. We stopped off at a small museum where we got to check out news articles of encounters and get our hands on some exclusive and unique alien memorabilia.
Boring as batshit, you people make me feel so curious, and I don't know why. You think you'll end up in the sky, happy as Larry and riding sheep on clouds. Well, I'd prefer your enthusiasm while you're here with me. So stop, don't get carried away, darling, don't you?
Our third roadside stop was at the very point where the Tropic of Capricorn was. Within a space of only a few kilometers of this marker, the climate would shift from a tropical setting to a desert setting. After the longest day of traveling so far on the trip, we arrived in Alice Springs, considered to be at the center of the Australian continent. Before we got settled into our accommodation for the evening, we stopped off at the Alice Springs Reptile Center to get up close and personal with some of Australia's reptiles, including an olive python.
Now, this little girl here is about 5 years old. She's captain bred, and of course she's various people. Now, if you go outside and see one outside, you don't go and pick one up because they'll bite you because they're frightened of you. You're big, they're small. So if you go outside, don't touch. Whereas this little girl here is very friendly and very used to us. Now, with her colour at the moment, she's not dark in colour, she's not light in colour, because in here it's just a moderate temperature. If she was freezing cold, she'd be jet black over her entire body. If she was hot, she'd be much lighter in colour to reflect heat. They change colour all the time. Now, the other reason why they change colour is to blend in. So sitting on a tree, she'll go grey, on the soil she'll go orange. She can go from grey to orange in about 15 seconds flat. And of course, the other reason why they change colour is for emotion. Now, Isabel is a nice little girl. I'm going to pop her on the floor here, and I'm going to see if I've got Vinny here as well. So I'll pop Vinny down here, and let's see if anything happens. So he'll go and do his head bobs out. Yep. So now we get the arm up. Now that little fellow there, you can see the big black beards come along, so now he's getting right into it there. These guys are quite savage when it comes to mating. They'll actually take big chunks out of the girl, they'll bite them on the back of the neck and everything. So they'll take big chunks out, so they're quite savage. Now this is Tom. He of course is a very lovely olive python. Now, this little fellow here, when he's full grown, he'll get to be big. So if I stretch him out now, he's a bit over about 2.4, maybe 2.5 metres long. He currently weighs around about probably 8 to 9 kilograms, and he's 10 years old. Now when he's big, he'll be from here to that all long. He'll get to 30 kilograms in weight, and he'll get to 40 years of age. So he'll get much bigger.
There's a snake in the grass in my neighbourhood. A snake in the grass, that can't be good. There's a snake in the grass in my neighbourhood. Help me send him on his way. You can take a stick and beat it, or leave it alone. Lock it in the shed, or hope it goes home. Shoot it with a pistol or a 303, but don't bring that thing near me. There's a snake in the grass in my neighbourhood. There's a snake in the grass, that can't be good. There's a snake in the grass in my neighbourhood. Help me send him on his way.
How about your experience with the snake?
That was actually very scary.
Really?
Yeah, I'm afraid of snakes. That was the worst.
After a very relaxing night in Alice Springs, we were back on the road again, heading further south to the red center of Australia. So we have arrived here at Kings Creek Station for our overnight swag, sleep under the stars. We are in the desert of Australia. The soil is more red now than when we were up in Darwin. It's pretty cool. Tonight we're gonna have an included dinner and have a giant bonfire and see all the amazing stars at night. This was the one activity during my Outback portion that I was really looking forward to. being in the wilderness and seeing all the stars while lying in your swag. And the galaxy did not disappoint. So we all got up at 4:30 this morning to go on the King Canyon hike. Sleeping in the swag underneath the stars last night was absolutely amazing. One of the best experiences so far on this trip. This hike that we're doing is going to be about 2.5 to 3 hours long, and we're going to see some pretty amazing things along the way.
Okay guys, this is the tree of no return. As soon as you walk past this tree, you cannot turn around. So we've got about 2 hours to go. It is a bit up and down and rocky. There's like 100 stairs down into the base of the canyon and then back up again halfway. Not even halfway, well before halfway.
My first of many hikes on this 9-week trip across Australia and New Zealand, and so far this Kings Canyon hike has been absolutely amazing. It feels like I'm on Mars or another planet, and all the unique landscapes and formations.
Kings Canyon was first found by Ernest Giles in 1872. There is over 60,000 people that come here a year that visit the Kings Canyon. The walls, sheer walls, are about 100 meters in depth. Alright guys, we are going down the stairs. This place down here is called the Garden of Eden. It's a little oasis in the middle of Kings Canyon. From here on out, if you guys want to be fed breakfast, we walk fast. Got it?
Got it.
Got it.
Let's go. I got chills, guys.
I'm gonna eat your bacon.
Hey, calm down.
Fuck you.
You can eat breakfast for 60 years. You'll never be here again.
Yeah, exactly.
How was that walk?
Amazing. I'm gonna do it again.
Want to do it again?
Yeah.
You can go around again?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
So good.
Yeah.
How was that walk?
Hey?
How was that walk?
It was perfect.
You want-
Amazing.
You want to do it again?
Mind blowing.
You want to do it again?
Yeah, let's go.
I can do it again.
You reckon?
Oh yeah, that was easy.
Yeah.
After hiking for a few hours, and despite our group's decision to have or not have breakfast, we did manage to make it back in time and had a very filling breakfast before we were back on the road again, heading straight for the red center, Uluru. So we have finally made it to Uluru, the highlight of the trip thus far. It's a long way to get here, several days of driving along the road, but we finally made it to Uluru. Passed by the rock on our way in, and now we're checking out the Olgas, which are dome-shaped rocks. So today's our final day here in the outback of Australia, which was absolutely amazing these last few days. Saw so many unique landscapes in that, and it really felt like I was on Mars or another planet. But today we spent a whole day around Uluru. We saw the sunrise, which was absolutely amazing, and now we're on a 10-kilometer walk around Uluru. Walking around Uluru was absolutely amazing. So many different unique rock formations and textures in that, but there's only one way to beat this, seeing Uluru from above. On our final evening in the outback, we took in the sunset at Uluru and tilted our 2,700 kilometer journey from Darwin to Uluru. The next day, only 13 of our group would be continuing on to the east coast of Australia.
Dave and I would just like to thank you all for such a top 10, 11 days. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. In all honesty,
Don't swear.
we don't say this very often, but Dave and I were talking the other day and you guys have been absolutely amazing. It's been nice to have a group that don't whinge and bitch.
Love you, Dave.
Love you, Dave.
Love you, Casserole.
Cheers. Cheers, guys. Cheers.
Don't stress, that's done. I'm here and it's nice to be alive.